Hi everyone, welcome back. If you've not been here before, my name is Annalisa, and today I am going to be swiping this 9-inch wooden heart. These have to be hands down my favorite thing to swipe, or to paint on in general actually. I just really like the way that they always turn out at the end. The important thing to note about painting on these hearts is, or anything that's smaller, is you really have to keep a good eye on like how much pillow paint you're adding, because if you add too much, it's gonna make all of your cells stretch really far. I actually put maybe a little bit too much pillow paint on this one, and I was just very lucky that I was able to continue to work through it. However, because of that, I ended up doing an awful lot of maneuvering around trying to get it to not all slide off the during a spin. For these swipes, I always find it's really helpful to do thin layers and lots of them, and then use a very small palette knife, because you have a little bit more control over the section that you are swiping when you're using a smaller palette knife. I tried to speed up the cell formation a little bit. As usual, I'm using my embossing tool to do my swirlies. I was showing that it is a very fine tipped one. Usually, like if you get a pack of embossing tools, you'll have several different options to choose from. The best one to use for swirls is hands down the thin tip. Like the thinnest tip that you can get out of the package. Now with this, like I said, I put way too much pillow paint, so I really went as slow as I could when I was spinning this, because I knew I was going to have to tilt a lot more off than I normally do. Normally I prefer to spin because it allows my paint to distribute evenly across. However, when you have too much and you're wanting to keep it like in roughly the same area, sometimes it helps, like you can get just enough paint off either side. But spinning slow and steady is really important. When I'm working on my canvases, I actually prefer to keep my space as clean as possible, because there is nothing more annoying than trying to catch my spinner and stick my hands in the middle of wet paint. So it's just easier that way. I can also tell like how much paint is actually moving off of the canvas still versus how much is just moving off of my spinner. I usually collect all of this paint and then I just wipe it on the side of my pool, and it makes a huge mess, but it definitely makes way less of a mess than if I let it spin off of the spinner. Although I end up with a big old pool of paint in the one side. I wish that the colors looked as true as like what they really are in real life, because this was actually a lot lighter than how it appears. And as it spun out, it just really turned into like this beautiful, beautiful turquoise, or maybe an aqua color. At the very end, I do have a up close clip that I took with my cell phone, and you can see a little bit more of like the true colors of the painting in that one. I also have you can see like the real colors in the picture that I took as well. I can't stress enough how helpful it is when working on, when you're at like the closer to the end of a painting, to just keep that clean and around your painting, because what I'm looking for here is I'm trying to see just how much more paint I need to try to get off of my painting, but I can't see that unless unless everything around it is clean and I can see like, oh, there's actually paint coming off. Is it just me? Am I the only one that does this? I'd like to know how you guys like to spin your canvases, and if you keep around your painting clean, or if you just let it all spin off. Sometimes it's really satisfying to watch it spin off. So I'm always curious to see like what other people do. I really love how this heart turned out. I really didn't expect it to turn out quite the way that it did, and it was such a nice surprise. I've been sick for the last week and not really able to paint, and so while it's given me a lot of time to go through and do a lot of editing of my videos or my recordings, this was really like the first true time that I was able to sit down and paint, and so it was really nice to just actually be able to nail it on the first try with this heart. Anyway, this was the point where I called it the end, and I felt confident that there wasn't any more paint coming off, and what was on there, it wasn't going to move too much, which limited the amount of cracking it was going to do. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please like this video and hit the subscribe button down below. Have a wonderful day.